Well, hello and welcome back to WingStache Moto Vlog. My name is Carrie, and today we are riding in beautiful Baker, California. This is early in the morning, about 6:30 a.m. After doing a ride from Pikes Peak through Death Valley and Badwater Basin. I continued on to Baker, California, and I'm right now circling around and getting a picture of the world's largest thermometer in Baker, California. This is where, being close to Death Valley, it gets very hot very regularly. So that's something that is often up into the above 100 degrees Fahrenheit during the summertime. Thankfully, while I was here, it was only 62 degrees in the morning. I rode on from Baker to Barstow, California, to stay for a day in a hotel there and sleep and recuperate after that ride. And then I did get up and head out the next morning, heading back east along Interstate 40, paralleling Route 66. And I stopped along the way at any of the cities that were mentioned in the infamous Route 66 song covered by Nat King Cole, among others. And I also stopped a couple other places as well, including Tucumcari, New Mexico, and also Winslow, Arizona, and added those pictures into the video as well. So I hope you enjoy this video. This is just a quick run through of some of the murals, signs, special areas along Route 66 for photo opportunities. You can see right here, it is early the next morning on the 28th of May, and I'm headed to Kingman, Arizona. The scenery was beautiful and varied. I mean, as varied as a desert landscape can be. Various kinds of rock formations and hills and different colors of soil and rock. And so I took several short clips along the way just to show off the remarkable scenery, and really any of this video doesn't come close to seeing what it looks like in person. I would recommend everybody, whether it's by car or motorcycle, to take a drive out west, take this Interstate 40, or if you want to take actual Route 66, you can do that for several portions along the way. I just found it was necessary for my own pace to be mostly on interstate and getting off on the parallel Route 66 for the photo opportunities. But to each his own. But whether you enjoy it by interstate or by Route 66 or other smaller roads, you just really owe it to yourself to get out there and see the scenery and experience being in this area. It's a very rewarding drive or ride, should you choose to take it. Here we are getting off of the highway at Kingman, Arizona. They have a really cool Route 66 collection of signage and roadside art, for lack of a better term, including the one that we're going to arrive at here in just a moment, which is a large drive-through road shield that says Route 66, Kingman, Arizona. You can ride through, get your picture through the middle of the road shield. It's very cool. One of the better things along the road on Route 66 to do. I think they win the prize in my book for doing the best. One of the challenges of doing a video like this is you take so much footage and have to really edit it down to try to keep the video from being extremely long. And of course, as the person that was there and took the video, you don't really want to get rid of it because it's all really cool. But admittedly, there can be too much of a good thing if you're trying to watch a video on YouTube. So hopefully I did a good job of cutting out a lot of excess while leaving enough that it's enjoyable to really see the scenery and not just race through it. It's definitely a challenge. Here we are back on the road, headed toward Flagstaff, Arizona next. The temperature was very comfortable for really all of my trip. It was it got down colder in the mountains, of course, but high temperatures. I hit Death Valley just right in the early morning hours, so the temperatures were in the low 60s. And in this morning, headed out toward heading east, I think the temperature only went up into the very low 80s, mid 70s, and in the mornings it was in the 60s. Just really quite favorable for riding. I think this time of year in mid to late May is probably a good time for this trip. Continuing to enjoy the desert landscape as we head toward Flagstaff, Arizona. What really struck me here when I got off of I-40 East at the Flagstaff exit was just how different it was right off the highway. Suddenly I have this grove of pine trees. It was just beautiful, and the air just smelled so clean and clear. I was just, really impressed with how beautiful this area was. We are heading into a mural in Flagstaff, Arizona. In their downtown section. And I apologize. Unfortunately, it's going to be with us for a while. There's a smudge on the camera lens, on the front camera lens. You can see it as we're facing forward. You can see it on that left side. I was, of course, unaware that that was there while I was riding and filming all of this. So my apologies. It will stay there for most of the rest of the video, but I did try to edit, taking more rear-facing shots and trying to zoom in to get that smudge out of the picture as much as I could in the editing process. But this is something that happens when you have an exposed camera and you're on a motorcycle. It gets stuff on the lenses. And you can probably also tell that I'm doing most of this narration after the fact during the editing process as a voiceover. And that's really just because I just am not satisfied with the wind noise that I get from the helmet microphone when I'm doing trying to do the voiceover to record to my phone while videoing and writing. And it's also just because I have to do that, separately. I don't have the Insta360 X5 with the audio pumped into the footage during the video collection process. It's just a few more steps and requires just a bit too much of paying attention to that while riding. So I've just chosen to do these voiceovers after for better audio and just less fiddling, better safety while I'm riding. I'm not trying to do too many things while also traveling on a motorcycle. So I may change that up at some point if I can figure out a better system. And I suspect ultimately it will be to get an Insta360 that has the Bluetooth connection. But also, I'm still not sure about the wind noise picking up from the mic. It seems a little bit not as wind proof, if you will, as the setup that I had on my prior helmet. So also, this is Winona, Arizona. And just in case you're wondering, when the Route 66 song says Flagstaff, Arizona, don't forget Winona, I can see why, because there's not really anything there. I did not find the, I don't know actually what it was, roadside marker or something I was looking for off Route 66 in Winona that Google said was there. I went, found railroad tracks and a gravel road leading to God knows where, and decided I'm not turning around a 900-pound motorcycle on gravel. So that's the story of Winona. Now you know why it says don't forget Winona. Interestingly, Winona, if you're traveling west, also comes before Flagstaff. So I suspect that was maybe a little tongue-in-cheek humor there. Maybe he did forget Winona on the way out. It also happens to just rhyme nicely, of course. But yeah, don't bother stopping in Winona. There is nothing there to see. So adding to this trip that's not in the Route 66 song, I did stop in Winslow, Arizona for the infamous Standin on the Corner song from the Eagles. And that was a fun stop. They have a nice park that is established there. So they've got really good pedestrian friendly traffic areas there where you can park, walk around, take pictures. There's a couple of shops, souvenir shops, and with food and drinks, and of course all kinds of souvenirs and stickers, etc. So this was a fun addition. Not exactly, well actually it is still Route 66. It's along Route 66. It's just not part of the song lore, but still worth a stop. I'm glad I stopped there. And now heading toward Gallup, New Mexico. Again, the rock formations are just stunning and a little bit different than they were earlier. There's just different shape to them, different edges, different coloring. It's just a really stunning visual trip on this this section of the interstate or the Route 66. It's just really, again, you should see it in person. As we're coming into Gallup here, just look at the rock formations ahead and the various colors, and really the camera just doesn't pick it up as spectacular as it looks in person, but hopefully it still looks pretty stunning to me even on the camera. Well, one thing like any other road trip, plenty of big trucks. All right, we are off the highway now at Gallup, New Mexico, just turning onto Route 66, and we are coming along toward semi-known, at least I was not super familiar with it, but evidently fairly well-known Route 66 diner. So we'll be upon that shortly and grab a picture there. And then in just a few moments right after that, we'll be coming into some of my favorite footage that I was captured during really the whole trip. And I'll explain and also put it on the screen. And I think you'll see what I'm talking about. So here we are pulling up into the Route 66 diner. And I just did not have the time to stop for a meal here. That may be something I'll do some other time. Alright, as I said, we're coming into some of my favorite footage that I captured here. If you look off into the distance as we pass this big rock formation on the left first, but if you look that direction and kind of further in the distance as we come around past these power poles and just a few more trees here. You can see, if you look into the distance, you can see Interstate 40, and it just really hit me. It looks exactly like a scene out of the Pixar movie Cars, where here you are on Route 66, but you can see the future. You can see the interstate that is bypassed and how much more traffic there is. I just thought that was such a interesting shot. And now we're coming in toward Albuquerque. Again, just viewing back at the rock formations, different color, different shape, just evolving, ever-changing desert landscape. Here we are coming through the Albuquerque area. Lots of high flyover ramps over the interstate. A lot of traffic through Albuquerque, but we made it through pretty well. And it is, even for being interstate, it was a nice ride. They've done a really nice job with the road construction to incorporate some of those same desert colors. And now we are heading in toward Tucumcari, New Mexico. And one of the reasons I wanted to stop there, which we'll see in an upcoming clip here, is to get on Route 66 through Tucumcari to the Blue Swallow Motel. That is an original Route 66, 1940s through 60s era motel that is still operating as a motel. It's been really restored and kept up, and the current owners have some neat 50s era cars on the property, and they're really making the most of having such a cool original Route 66 property to take care of and to make available for people to still see it and stay there. It's a popular place to stay as well. In fact, my daughter took a trip a couple of years ago, and this is about as far out west as she could get with the time that she had. So she came out to Tucumcari and actually stayed in the Blue Swallow Motel, and she highly recommended to go there at some point. So I did not stay. Maybe I will at some point in the future, but I did make it there and could certainly appreciate what she appreciated about it. It's very well kept property. And as we leave from the Blue Swallow Motel, still on Route 66 in Tucumcari. On both sides of the street, there are a couple of other historic motels that are still operating. Long stretch of Route 66 with a lot of businesses. And here we are arriving at the Big Texan in Amarillo, Texas, home of the free 72-ounce steak if you can eat it in, I think, an hour or 90 minutes or something like that. But, just for those who may not be aware, that's 4.5 pounds of meat and all of the sides that you have to eat in order to get that for free. So I just had a regular ribeye and it was delicious. And it just so happens that the next morning, right past my hotel, there was a Buc-ee's. Pretty much my favorite place for gas on the road these days. If you can find them, there's no reason not to go. And there are more of them being built, so I believe they're up to 60 some locations now and more on the way. If you haven't been, you owe it to yourself. Like I always say, when there's a Buc-ee's, you gotta go. We are coming now to Oklahoma City, to the midpoint sculpture, the Route 66 midpoint sculpture. This was the middle point of the Route 66 trek from Chicago to Los Angeles. The middle is Oklahoma City, so they have a special sculpture here to represent that. And it's actually pretty cool. It's a little just roadside park or parking lot that has a giant push pin, like a pin in a map, and it has some other map-themed images and artwork on the facets of the sculpture of the push pin. It was pretty cool. All right, as we come into Joplin, Missouri to a mural, this will be my last stop for this Route 66 trip. I'll be, of course, heading home after this, but not doing the eastern half on this trip, just ending with Joplin, and I hope I can do the eastern half from St. Louis to Chicago, perhaps later this summer or in the fall, and I will certainly bring that to you if I am able to do that. But this is going to do it for me for this time around, and I definitely appreciate you watching. I hope you enjoyed the trip and the commentary and the photos and the scenery along the way. I know I certainly did, and thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate you taking the time. Until next time, be safe, get out there.